Let me retweet this. Come on. Come on.
I see a nice advertisement.
There we go. All right. Let me pull up our Google Doc here. Oh, let me make sure we don't have any emails first, real quick. Come on, Gmail. See. Yeah, we have one email here. Let me.
An electronic mail?
Yes. Put it in the Google Doc here.
We are talking TNC Surf Designs.
Good God, everything is going slow as piss right now. Come on.
All right, we are sent out on Facebook.
Why is this? Oh my God, go away. I'm starting to get aggravated. All right, well, I'll just keep that email up because it's not letting me copy and paste it, so
Okay.
I'll just have to remember to go back to it. Don't let me forget.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the Google Doc, so.
Yeah, it's not letting me copy and paste it for some reason. I don't know why. And I don't feel like trying to figure it out. All right, let me make sure our stream is good. Yep, stream is good and strong. So I'm good to go if you are.
Sure.
All right. A little sip of Sprite. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Do you like this show and you want to help support us? Do you want us to stay ad-free? Do you want extra episodes every month? Well, then head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro and become a Patreon supporter of this very show. Greetings, programs, and welcome back to another edition of the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
So, Derek, how has your week been, sir?
Well, it was going okay until a few minutes ago when Skype decided to crash.
That's why we're a little late getting started tonight, because Skype decided to just take a worldwide poop. And so we did a little finagling, and now we've got Discord. So I think that's going to be our platform of choice from here on out.
Well, it's funny because we'd actually talked about after PizzaCon making the switch over to Discord. So Skype made the decision for us.
Yes, it did. And I'm glad it did, because you sound better and your video is way clearer.
Yeah, it's funny because I was actually checking it before we started, and there's a podcast I listened to that recently made the switch over from Skype to Discord, and I've listened to this show for 10 plus years. The audio difference is just, it's night and day.
Yeah, you sound crystal clear coming in right now.
And another thing is I've gone back and listened to previous episodes of the show, and you can tell my audio sounds different, so I'm excited to go back and listen to hear how it is. But other than that, it's been actually a pretty busy week. I started editing the Parker Syndrome this past weekend, and that's going to be a probably fairly lengthy process, but it's coming along slowly but surely, and just kind of getting ready for PinsaCon this weekend, because we've got I know we've got 2 panels that we're doing on that Sunday.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. This Sunday, please come out to Pensacon and watch us do a live episode of the Nerd Cave Retro Show. Let me look up which room is it. It's in the... Come on. It's in the Grand Hotel Room A, Sunday, February 24th at 4 p.m.
And also, if you're going to be there earlier in the day, Jason, Wally Phelps, the official fact checker of the Nerd Cave Retro, as well as Mr. Julio Diaz, will be joining the Defending Bad Movies panel. That will be recorded for the Derek Diamond Experience. I've got a list of 30 movies for you guys to choose from.
That is going to be so awesome.
It's going to be fun. And the cool thing is that the panelists will not know what those movies are until I pull them out of either a cup or a hat, whatever I decide to bring up on stage with me.
Please don't give me something I have no way of defending. Give me something I can defend, like Ice Pirates or something like that.
I will say there are a handful that I really hope get selected, because I know, especially, I don't know Julio as well as I do you and Wally, but there are some that I know will just kill you two to defend.
And I'll have to defend it no matter what it is, right?
Yep. You can't say anything
fun.
bad about it.
If it's Spider-Man 3, I'm just going to walk off the dais.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you that is on the list.
Oh, God, I'm going to get it, ain't I?
It's going to be fun, though. That's going to be Sunday, February 24th at 1:30 p.m. at the Grand Hotel Room B.
So come out, say hi, and hang out with us for the day.
Yes.
So I don't know about you, but I'm ready to move into the news for this week. What do you say?
Sure.
This happened a little bit earlier this week. This is on NintendoLife.com. Near mint condition copy of Super Mario Bros. Sells at auction for more than $100,000. A certified near mint condition copy of the timeless NES classic Super Mario Bros. Has sold for $100,150 at an auction. This makes it the first ever video game to sell for 6 figures. The reason it fetched such a high price is linked to the rarity. Between 1985 and 1986 in New York and LA at test market launches, Nintendo sold a total of 2 NES cartridges in sticker-sealed boxes instead of the usual shrink wrap. This version is one of the 2 original sticker copies and has never been opened. What do you think about this? Only 2 of these exist, and this is the only one that wasn't open. So this is a one-of-a-kind item.
Well, I mean, if any game is going to go for 6 figures, I think Super Mario Brothers, especially one in this condition, and that it being the only copy of this run that has never been opened, and it was graded a 9.4 out of 10 as far as condition goes. That's damn near perfect condition.
It doesn't say
so I'm
where.
not surprised at all.
It doesn't say who had this thing or where it was found, but I mean, it stayed in great condition, so obviously it was lost to the world for a while and just kind of preserved.
Would you sell it if you had it?
I don't know. If I could get $100,000 for it, yeah.
Yeah. Same. No, I completely agree. It's insane. You know, I remember reading this a few days ago and was just blown away by it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I never in my life thought that a video game would sell for more than $100,000. I mean, I thought it was crazy that you know, the Nintendo World Championship, you know, gold cartridges go for like, you know, 20 or 30. Like, that's nuts to me. But this is just, who has $100,000 to spend on Super Mario Brothers?
The dream is to have $100,000 to spend on
that's
a
the dream.
condition video game. But our next story also comes to us from NintendoLife.com. A reminder, Super Mario Bros. 2 and Kirby's Adventure are now on the Switch, plus 2 new SP Edition NES games. Let's see. sees the latest update arrive in Nintendo Switch's online NES app with 4 new games in total being added for your playing pleasure, or 5 if you're in Japan. The 2 main additions this month are Kirby's Adventure and Super Mario Bros. 2, which Nintendo previously confirmed just last week. And a short video was shared on Nintendo of Europe's Twitter page, which you can watch on the article. The 2 new SPs are Metroid, which gives you every power up from the start and gives you an easier chance to see a special game ending, while a special version of Blaster Master has you starting from Area 8.
I'm still not a fan of the SP edition games.
I didn't mind playing through The Legend of Zelda when you have some of the items and you start from the beginning, but I feel like it makes it a little too easy. Like, I wouldn't want to play Metroid with having every power up from the start. Like, that to me takes a lot of the challenge of it, because half the fun of that game is exploring and finding the items and getting them yourself.
Yeah, it just defeats the purpose for me. Like, that's the whole fun of the game, is the the adventure, the journey.
Yeah. It's not about the destination, it's the journey.
No. For our next story, this comes from, if it'll pull up for me, Game Rant's being a little slow. Nintendo is working on a game that was thought dead. This week, Nintendo Direct was a solid showing, some great titles coming out later this year. But many of its high-profile series were missing. However, if rumors prove true, Nintendo may have something very secretive cooking. No, I don't want you to show me notifications. Great Game Rant. Go away. According to Game Informer's Imran Khan, news of a specific game continues to pop up to the point that it sounds like it's in development. Khan did not reveal the game, but saying he wants to confirm with a few more sources before he makes the news public. However, he was clear that the game rumored to be in development was thought dead. It is unclear how far back in Nintendo's history this game will be coming from, but looking at the more recent past, Nintendo has said it had plans to bring back F-Zero on the Wii U with the help of Need for Speed developer Criterion Games, but that game never came to fruition. Other franchises that at some point were rumored to be on Nintendo's list to bring back but never did during the Wii generation included Kid Icarus and Wave Race.
Very interesting.
I would be interested to see a new version of Kid Icarus.
Yeah, because Kid Icarus hasn't been around. I can't think of one since the NES.
Yeah, since the original game.
That would be pretty cool. I also wouldn't mind another F-Zero, because I think the last F-Zero that came out was the one for the GameCube.
Yeah.
And it was ridiculously hard.
Yeah, I would love to play F-Zero on the Switch. I think that would be a great title to bring back from the NES, from the Nintendo library of IPs. I think F-Zero is still holds up as a great racing game, and I think they should just bring it back.
Well, those are two of the franchises that haven't been around in a long time, because we've recently gotten a Star Fox game, because there was one out for the Wii U. We know Metroid Prime 4 is in development. We had a Pikmin game for the Wii U, so those are really the only two off the top of my head that haven't been around in a long time. So
Pie in the sky. If I had my way, it would be Star Tropics.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, but
that would be a nice surprise. But with it saying working on game that was thought dead, it makes me think it's F-Zero.
Yeah, it's got to be something like that, or maybe like another Star Fox game or something like that.
Yeah. Let's see. This comes to us from toucharcade.com. Konami confirms global release for Castlevania Grimoire of the Souls this year. Back in April of last year, Konami announced a new mobile entry in their decades-running Castlevania series. Like the more recent announcements of mobile entries in popular franchises like Alien and Diablo, the console and PC crowd did not take kindly to the announcement. However, the game itself, titled Castlevania Grimoire of Souls, actually sounded really cool. It features classic 2D side-scrolling gameplay, but with characters, monsters, and environments all modeled in 3D, a style typically dubbed 2.5D. Like many mobile games and popular AAA franchises, it will feature multiple characters from throughout the series' history and also include the option for co-op online play for up to 4 players. And the cool thing is, it's a free to play game. I
Mm,
don't know about you, but I'm not a huge fan of these types of games
me neither.
on mobile devices.
I was just hoping that maybe since they are coming out with another Castlevania game, that maybe they have something in the works that's going to come later, like another, maybe a console version or something along these lines. Like maybe this is a teaser of something better to come from the Castlevania series. So that's what I'm looking at this as. It's just kind of like they're getting another Castlevania game out there to the mobile players to kind of dip their toes back in the water with the Castlevania series.
Which I think is a good idea, and hopefully it does lead to an actual like console return for Castlevania,
I
because
hope
it's,
so.
as we've mentioned before, it's one of those iconic franchises. When you think of the NES,
Yeah.
Castlevania's got to be in the first 5 names mentioned.
We're
So
way
hopefully it does lead
overdue.
to bigger and better things. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just, it's one that I hope does well, but is also not really my cup of tea. And there's no specific release date listed, so
Yeah.
it'll be something that we have to follow.
Well, I would think with the Castlevania series that's on Netflix, they would kind of want to capture that, interest with another Castlevania game, because I mean it is that's a name brand Castlevania, so they've got to be working on something. I refuse to believe that there's not another console Castlevania game coming.
I mean, they surprised us with the Link's Awakening remake,
Yep. So
so who knows?
let's hope. Coming up next, we have this month in hope. Hold on, let me bring it up here. Man, everything is running so slow tonight. Why? Come on, computer. All right, here we go. We are talking about this month in video game history. In February of 1989, Atari Games releases Hard Drivin' arcade game with filled polygon 3D graphics, physics simulation, and a force feedback steering wheel.
It looks like your typical racing arcade game.
Yeah, you can still find Hard Drivin' in arcades these days.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic staple of your arcades.
Yeah.
Also in February of 1989, the dreaded LJN publishes Friday the 13th, a survival horror video game developed by Japanese video game developer Atlas for the NES video game console. It's an adaptation of the Friday the 13th franchise. You don't say.
It says the game was panned by critics and players alike.
Well, I mean, it is LJN, and they do not have a great reputation. I don't have much personal experience with LJN, but we've talked about it enough on this show where I feel like I've kind of lived vicariously through you with that.
Well, I did review that game. I did do a Twitch stream of it. I can see the potential that they were going for with the game. They just didn't have the technology to do what they were trying to do yet. So it just didn't work. Maybe if that game had come out for maybe in the Super Nintendo era, when they had, better technology, better gameplay, stuff like that, it probably could have worked. But man, that game is just hard to like. There's not much good about it, but there was potential there.
Yeah, I never played it, but I do remember you reviewing it.
Yeah, it's bad. One of the top
bad.
5 worst games I've ever reviewed for this show, which I think tonight's review is in that top 5 as well. But
we should go through like all of our reviews and see like what we say are like the 3 best and the 3 worst games we've reviewed.
We should do that. Let's do that sometime in March. Let's do that. We'll do a show where we rank what was our best and what was our worst played games.
I like it. Let's do it.
Also in February of 1992, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3: The Manhattan Project is a side-scrolling beat-em-up released by Konami for the NES in Japan in 1991 and for the NES system in North America in 1992. It is the third video game iteration, come on, scroll for me please, of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES. The game features play mechanics similar to the previous game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Arcade Game, but it is an original title for the NES without any preceding arcade version.
I actually never played this one.
It's a really good game. I have it. I highly recommend it.
I mean, I played the first two. I knew there was a third one, but
I think
I don't know.
I was supposed to do all three, didn't I? I already did 1 and 2. That's what
You
I
did.
think. That's what I'm going to do next. I'll do Ninja Turtles and what's it called again? Manhattan
The
Project.
Manhattan Project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun talking Ninja Turtles. So.
Oh yeah. I'll talk Ninja Turtles all day.
Oh, same. We actually did that on an episode of my podcast that
Yeah,
you
we
should go
did.
back and listen to.
It was a good show.
It was. February 2nd of 1994, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is released for the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis and introduces the very popular Knuckles the Echidna character.
Ah.
Yeah, one of my favorite games for the Genesis and probably my second favorite of the classic Sonic games. 2 is still, it's close. 3, there's a lot of depth to it. I really like the Knuckles character, and a lot of the music and the level designs are great. It's got, I think, probably the best story out of that trilogy.
Yeah.
It's a really good game. I think I've reviewed this one
I think
before.
you did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I think I haven't reviewed Sonic and Knuckles yet, but I've reviewed the other 3.
You should.
But yeah, Sonic 3 is great.
Also on February 23rd of 1994, Super Street Fighter II Turbo Arcade was released, and it introduces Akuma.
Really hard game. I've tried playing it on the SNES Classic, and I've gotten my ass beat many times.
Yeah, I tried playing it on the Classic, and just, I'm not good. I'm not good at it at all.
It's weird because it's very similar to Mortal Kombat, yet I'm so much better at that game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I grew up with it and I didn't really grow up with Street Fighter.
I don't know, maybe.
Who knows? Who knows? Let's see. And to close us out for this month in video game history, in February of 1995, Star Wars Dark Forces is a first-person shooter video game developed and published by LucasArts. Let's see, it was released on February 28th for MS-DOS and Macintosh, and 96 for the PlayStation. I actually didn't know it was on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
The storyline is set in the Star Wars universe and follows the character of Kyle Katarn, a mercenary working on behalf of the Rebel Alliance. He discovers the Empire's Dark Trooper project, which involves the development of a series of powerful new battle droids and power-armored stormtroopers.
I loved playing this game back in the day. I think Kyle Katarn was the same character that was in Jedi Outcast, wasn't he?
Let's see. He has appeared in 5 video games. Star Wars Lethal Alliance, Dark Forces, Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight Mysteries of the Sith, and Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast.
Yep, I knew that. I knew that sounded familiar.
You are correct. I would love to actually go back and play Dark Forces because I mentioned this last week. It's one of the games I used to watch my uncle play on PC.
You can go pick up
but I never
all
actually
these.
played them.
Dude, you can pick up all of these games on Steam, and probably pretty cheap.
Yeah, I should go back and do that. I should review one of these games just because
Yeah.
it would be such a cool trip down memory lane because it's one thing to watch it, but such a different thing to play it.
You know what? I have both Knights of the Old Republic games on Steam, and I haven't really jumped into them. I might go back and play those. And
those
review
games are
those.
so good.
Oh man, those are our 2 of the best Star Wars video games you can play.
I think I like the first one a little bit better than 2, but they're both great.
Oh yeah, they're both great. Especially if you like the Mass Effect series. Like Mass Effect reminded me a lot of Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
But let's go ahead and do our review for tonight. And it's probably not going to be very long. Town and Country Surf Designs Wood and Water Rage is a skateboarding and surfing game published by LJN for the Nintendo Entertainment System in February of 1988. The game shares its name with the world-famous surfboard manufacturer, Town and Country Surf Designs, and features the company's mascot characters known as Da Boys, Joe Cool, Tiki Man, Cool Cat, and Thriller Gorilla. So, man, yeah. The reason I picked to do this is because we talked about it last week on this month of video game history, and I remember playing this game a lot as a kid. I actually have a copy of this, and I played it a little bit, but I just played it for like a second when I bought it, and didn't really jump into it. But I got the itch to play this game again because I have a lot of nostalgia for this game. I loved playing this game when I was a kid. I don't know why, because going back and playing it now, it is absolutely horrendous. And I don't know what I saw in this game as a kid. It's got 3 separate gameplay modes. Oops, sorry about that. It's got, of course, skateboarding. It's called Street Skate Session, the big wave encounter where you do surfboarding, and then you have a third option, which is Wood and Water Rage, where basically you play Street Skate and then you go into big wave. You get 3 lives per session, and basically it's like an obstacle course with the Street Skate Session, and you can only do like one move. You can jump. That's it. And you don't even do an ollie. You like jump over. The board can go like under an obstacle and you jump over. And then you have to go in between objects, which is very hard to do because you're kind of on that what would you call that? Like that. It's not straight on 2D side scroller. It's more like a.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of an actual term for it.
I know the term for it.
It's kind of 2.5D, but it's not.
It's more like that, but it's really hard to see where you need to be at to like go in between objects because the hit detection on this game is ridiculously bad. You get anywhere close to an object and you're going to wipe out. Like, I played this game maybe 20, 30 minutes the other night. Just the sheer frustration, which then turned to boredom, which turned to me just turning the game off because I couldn't do it anymore.
Was that your favorite part of the game?
Turning it off? Yes.
Yeah.
Of course,
it's funny because I know you texted me the other night and you said this was going to be your review, and you played it for about 20 minutes. And you're like, yeah, I was done.
It's made by LJN, so that should tell you something. And honestly, like I loved this game as a kid, even though it was an LJN game. Playing it as an adult, the skateboarding part is too hard because you can't tell where you need to be on the screen. It's sort of like when I was playing the Three Stooges during the part where you're Larry and you're running through the street to get the violin so that you could go back and play the Three Blind Mice song for Curly because like it's kind of a split screen. On the bottom of the screen is Curly getting his ass kicked in the ring, and while you're on the top of the screen and you're running trying to go back and get trying to get find the violin, but you don't know where you need to be on the plane of the game screen to like not run into objects and wipe out. It's exactly like that. So that was hard to do, and I couldn't get into it. Then of course, sorry about that. Keep getting notifications for some reason, and I don't know how to turn them off. But then the surfing part, I still don't know what to do during that part. I have no clue what I'm supposed to do during that part of the game. And I got bored and I couldn't do it anymore. And this is up there. I'm ranking this up there with broken games. Like, I honestly, I would rather play Fester's Quest than play this game.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, there's nothing
That's a
fun.
strong statement, my friend.
I would rather. I wish I'd have played Skate or Die, because at least Skate or Die still has some fun elements to it. Like, it's still a fun game to play. Even though it looks awful, probably still plays awful, but it's still fun. There's still a lot to do in it. But this game is just, there's not much to it, and you get bored really easily.
Well, the very little knowledge and visuals I have from this game, like, I see how it would be appealing as a kid, because you've got basically a gorilla on a surfboard,
Yeah.
wearing sunglasses, and it looks fun. It's got a fun cover. Had I seen this game as a kid, I probably would have played it too. From what little I've watched of it, it doesn't look like a very exciting game. It just looks too bland.
Let's see. There you have a life meter. Of course, you got you score points by getting coins as you go through the skateboarding level. Let's see. There 4 different colors of coins at regular intervals in the stage. Moving objects in the way, such as toy car or ball, will get you points if you jump on top of them with your skateboard. I can never figure out how to jump with the skateboard. Maybe that's something I needed to learn how to do. There are also barriers that give you points if you jump over them and let your skateboard roll underneath. You can grind the guardrail at the very top of the playfield, and you get points for doing that. Then you go on to the big wave encounter, and your goal is to surf long enough to reach the pier on the beach. Just like in skateboarding, the play is side-scrolling and moving to the right. You want to surf both to the right far enough to avoid crashing within the big wave tailing you, and high enough to avoid crashing on the bottom of the screen. There's no timer in this mode. It's all about surviving to the end. You also have health points in this mode, and if you run out, it is game over. I never could figure out how to not just sink into the bottom of the screen during the surfboard part. Like, I still just don't know what to do during that part. And that's really the only 2 game modes there are. And yeah, that's it.
I'm not going to lie, it sounds really bad.
Yeah, it's boring. Like, man. I just got curious last week because I hadn't played this in a long time. I remember liking it as a kid, but as an adult, this game does not hold up. And if you're a collector, it's probably something you're going to want to just have in the collection, but you're never going to play it. This is one of those games I'm never going to touch. I mean, it looks good in the it's filler for your NES library, basically.
Shelf space?
Yeah, shelf space. That's all it is. Makes your collection a little more impressive, but yeah, it's one of those games that I'm never gonna touch again, like Fester's Quest, Zelda 2, probably Three Stooges. I'm never gonna touch that again. Like, there are just some games for the NES, like, that are just shelf space.
So I guess the only question left to ask is, what would you give this on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh God, this doesn't even get it. I'm gonna give it a 3, just because the box art looks cool.
Yeah, my general rule of thumb is you always have to give a 1 for effort.
Yeah, one for
And then
effort. Pretty decent box art. It's got a cool logo, and it looks good on the shelf. But that's all it gets.
that's unfortunate. But I mean, it's one of those things that, we've reviewed so many good games on this show that you're eventually going to run into some bad ones.
Yeah, this is one of the bad ones. Yeah.
That's 2 in a row for us.
Yeah, well, let's get them out of the way early in the year.
Yeah, nowhere to go but up.
Nope. But that's my review for Town and Country Surf Designs Wood and Water Rage, produced by LJN Toys Limited. I need to get a good vomit sound effects for whenever we do an LJN game. But I do have this. Hold on, let me hear.
You blew it.
Hey, that's what they get.
Love it. But I know you said we had some listener email.
Yes, we do. Let me pull that up real quick. For our listener email, let me put a little bit of music under there real quick. What do you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. This comes from Clint James. Hey fellas, hope all is well. I know you've talked at length about Castlevania in the past, and I'm curious if either of you have played Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the original PlayStation. I discovered it only a few years ago and found it intriguing as it offers a new take on the franchise. It is very different from the Nintendo platforming versions, but it is just as challenging in my opinion and a lot of fun. If you have time to try it, I would love to hear your thoughts and possibly a review in the future. Kudos to you on the success of the show. Keep up the great work. I look forward to listening every week and especially enjoy it when you guys do a commentary and have Wally as your guest. Till next time. Well, thanks, Clint.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I think I did play Castlevania Symphony of the Night because I had a roommate back around early 2000s that had a PlayStation, and he had Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I'm pretty sure I played it, but I don't really remember anything from it, but I have heard a lot of good stuff about the game, so I would definitely like to go back and try it out.
Yeah, I never played it just because I was not introduced to the Castlevania series until we started this show. But it would definitely be one I'd want to go back and play as well.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I don't know where I would get it though. I don't have an original PlayStation or anything, and I really have no desire to get one.
Yeah.
What about the PlayStation Classic? Is that one of the games on the PlayStation Classic? Let me look that up real quick.
Give me a second and I'll tell you.
PlayStation Classic games.
Let's see.
Because I'm pretty sure the PlayStation Classic is probably going to drop in price here pretty soon.
It is not on the list.
It is not. I don't know. I'll keep an eye out for it. See if maybe it's on like Good Old Games or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be fun to go back and play that.
Oh, yeah. And other than Crash Bandicoot, we haven't reviewed any PlayStation games.
Well, thank you for the email. And those of you who want to write in, please send an email over to us and we will read it on the show. Yes. So one more thing before we get out of here. Like we talked about earlier, we do have 2 Pensacon panels coming up this Sunday, February 24th. The first one is Defending Bad Movies panel, and that's going to be at 1:30 p.m. in the Grand Hotel Room B. And then, of course, we're going to be doing Nerd Cave Retro live in the Grand Hotel Room A at 4 p.m. So please come out, say hi, watch us do these panels, and, hang out with us. Throw us a couple of questions from the audience. I'm sure we'll be doing audience Q&A for a bit.
Oh, for sure. And for those who don't live in the area and can't make it, I am going to be recording both panels. The Nerd Cave Retro panel will be next week's show, and Defending Bad Movies will be next week's episode of the Derek Diamond Experience, which you can follow that show on social media at D Diamond Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But I do want to give a little tease for what's going to happen in 2 weeks on the show. So there's been a franchise that we have not been very kind to. It started out as both of us, and then I just kind of took over, and have just been trolling. I gotta give it its due. I said I gave my word I would give the franchise a shot. So in 2 weeks, I will be reviewing Final Fantasy III for the Super Nintendo. I'm going to be playing it with an open mind, and you'll have to tune in 2 weeks to hear what my thoughts are.
Well, you people asked for it. You finally got it. We're going to be reviewing a Final Fantasy game, and the good part is I don't have to play it.
Then you could take over as trolling it.
That's right.
Give a shout out to Thad Matta, who's in the chat room, who actually says he can't wait to hear the review of Final Fantasy.
Awesome. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to the chat room tonight because my computer is running super slow, and I don't know why. I just restarted it before the show, and it's still running like it's covered in molasses right now.
Well, we'll have a couple of weeks to get everything back. Oh, it's Thad Smith. What's going on, Thad?
Oh, hey, Thad.
Yeah.
Glad you could join us, sir.
Absolutely.
But
so yeah, we'll have a couple of weeks, and like we mentioned, we'll be making the switch to Discord, so we'll actually have more than 1 minute to get everything ready.
Yeah, and I do need to get back. I got to play the Knights of the Old Republic because those games are long. So I'm going to try to start on that in the next couple of nights so I can have it done in the next couple of weeks to be able to review it.
That's going to be so much fun
to
go back and relive those games.
And if it looks like I won't be able to get it done in time to review it, I'll try to find something quick for the NES to do. I got a pile of games over here I still haven't reviewed yet. So, I need to do the Ninja Turtles.
In my back pocket.
I'm gonna do the Ninja Turtle ones first. Yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll do Star Wars.
And that'll give you more time.
Absolutely. So, is there anything else you wanted to get into before we get out of here tonight?
One more thing. For those who are fans who grew up in the 90s, you'll want to check out this week's episode of the Derek Diamond Experience because I got to interview Rob Paulson, who was the voice of Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. He was the original Raphael in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He was Yakko in Animaniacs and did a ton of other voice work. He's been in DuckTales, Sonic the Hedgehog, Tailspin, ton of other, if you grew up in the 90s and you watched animation, chances are you heard Rob Paulson's voice.
Yes.
And he'll also be at Pensacon as well, and I'm excited to meet him. Super nice guy. Definitely check it out. That'll be out this Thursday on Apple Podcast and Spotify.
Awesome. Well, you can see me this Sunday at Pensacon, so come out and say hi. And I think that's going to do it for the show tonight. And let me go ahead and play our I'm burpy. Sorry about that. Let me play our music here. If you would like to email us, you can email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. We are at nerdcaveretro.com. We're on Instagram and Twitter at nerdcaveretro, and individually at jfunktastic and at Derek_Diamond. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdcaveretro. Go throw us a couple of bucks a month and get us back up to that $50 level so we can give you extra episodes every month at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And as always, wherever you listen to the show, please leave us a review. So, Derek, tell them what it's all about.
R.I.P. Skype.
Yes.
You blew it!
Master Blaster runs Bartertown.
All right, and that is a show.
Sweet.
So everybody that was watching on Twitch tonight, thank you. And we will see you guys next week. Or, no, the week after. Goodbye.
Bye.